What is up, guys? Back today with another journal entries video. As always, beautiful day today. Vibrant, green, colourful, sunny, loving it. I was hoping it's not too windy. It's been quite windy lately, actually. Got my tea and water, as always. Got tea today because I'm doing a little bit of a detox from caffeine. Or from coffee. I do this like once a month, or I try to do it once a month just to keep my caffeine tolerance in check, because there's no point like having coffee every single day and then your tolerance gets through the roof and then you can't feel the effects of it like after that. So I just like doing a nice little reset. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've recorded journal entries, just been busy with life, what can I say. Hope you guys are alright. Let's get into it. Remember, he who is brave is free. So, story with this one. Basically, I went to the gym with my cousin and my friend over the weekend, and we're just there doing what were we doing? Tricep pushdowns, right? And this guy comes over, and he's like coming really, really close to us, and like staring at us. And then he goes to the machine next to us and continues staring at us. And then I remember, hey, wait, this is the same guy that did this last week. The exact same thing. And last week he also tried getting involved and giving some advice, like telling my friend to go slower. Or telling my cousin to go slower. Cousin wasn't really paying attention or anything, but that's a separate thing in itself. This time he didn't even say anything, he was just staring. It was making us all really uncomfortable. Even my cousin was looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is he staring at us like this? Again. And my friend just couldn't stop laughing, because obviously it's awkward, right? So I'm like, you know what, this is enough. I'm going to go over and say something. I didn't say that, I just went over. I was like, look, I find it really uncomfortable that you're staring at us. And I get that people stare. This isn't just like someone staring from a distance. This guy was coming up close and just staring like this. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you staring at us like that? And he's like, he decides to like argue with me over some stupid points. He was like, well, think about it. How would you know that I'm staring? The only way you would know that I'm staring is if you're staring back. I'm like, no, I felt your eyes on me. I could feel your eyes on me. I could sense it. Like, you know when you can sense that someone's staring at you. And he was like, oh, I don't know about any of that, but you must have been staring at me as well, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, you... And I like drew out what happened. He walked here, stared at us, then walked over there, and then continued staring at us, and then walked over here, and then he continued staring at us. And only then was he like, oh, okay, I didn't know you felt that way. I'm sorry, I'll try to be more mindful of the way you feel and your emotions and this and that. He was just basically being a little bit of a dickhead and taking it too far, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure. But after that, he did stop. But it's just stupid and silly, like, immature from him on his behalf, because if I'm bringing up an issue, at least be open to understanding that, hey, maybe, yeah, I might be at fault. But anyways, then I came back to my group, obviously, my cousin and my friend, and we just continued with our workout. And my cousin tells me, oh, you're an idiot for doing that, for approaching him and telling him to stop doing that. I'm like, why? You're the one that felt uncomfortable. And then he just wasn't talking at that time. So I talked to him later on and asked him about it. I was like, why was I an idiot for doing that? I was just like, we all felt uncomfortable, so I'm going to stand up and say something. There's nothing wrong with that. I have the right to do that. And he's like, no, you're an idiot. What if he punched you? What if this happened? We all have a right. Now, all of a sudden, he's defending the guy that was making him feel uncomfortable half an hour ago. And this didn't make any sense to me until I realized, you know what? Maybe 2 years ago, I would have been exactly like him. I would have been like, no, there's no point approaching him. Something might happen, just causing conflict for no reason, blah, 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 blah. But if I didn't go and approach him, next week he's going to stare at us again. The week after that, he's going to stare at us again. It's just going to keep happening. And it's, for him, it's entertaining it because I haven't stopped it yet. I haven't put an end to it. If you don't stand up when you feel uncomfortable or when something's happening, like there was a while back I made a video called You Should Be Ashamed of Yourselves on my main channel, and I saw something going on that I didn't like, so I decided to make a video about it. I could have well and easily ignored it, but no, I felt uncomfortable, so I'm going to stand up and make a video about it. I'm going to talk about the issues. And I feel like as a guy, just generally, that's just so important to do, because if you don't stand up for what you believe in, if you aren't afraid to deal with some sort of conflict or some sort of friction, like, yeah, he could have swung at me, but also at the same time, he could have. A million things could happen. So instead of relying on what could happen, why don't you focus on what you can do, right? What action can you take right now to prevent something in the future happening, or to deal with the situation at hand, which is exactly what I did, rather than thinking, oh, but he could swing at me. Oh, but he could start shouting and causing a scene. I don't care about any of that. All of that could happen. What I can do is go over to him and tell him to stop, because I find it uncomfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have the right to do that. I just felt disappointed when my cousin told me that I was in the wrong for doing that, because I genuinely don't think I was. It's not even like I came across in an aggressive manner. Originally, I just came across, I was like, hey, I find it quite uncomfortable that you're staring at me and my friends. Until the guy himself started being a little bit of an idiot and taking it to the next level. So I was like, at that point, I started getting a bit more aggressive, because he was being, like, annoying purposefully. You know when guys do that. So honestly, I think, like, as a guy, you just have to sometimes stand on business and, like, be brave about it. And like the quote that I just read to you, he who is brave is free. So on my phone, I have this little app called Stoic Space, and it shows, I have it set to, like, have a widget on my home screen. It shows me a new quote every day, and that was today's quote, he who is brave is free. And I just linked it so well to that situation that happened, and it just made me think about it more when I was reflecting on it. But more examples of this, like when you have to just stand on business. Like, I remember one time, this is a silly example, more of a joke than an example, but when I was younger, my first ever time using a urinal, right? And I always used to see these older kids using it, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll use it. I went to go use it, and instead of just, like, pulling down my pants in the front, or, like, opening the zipper at the front, I pulled down my pants all the way, like, to my knees, from both the front and behind. I just stood there, like, doing my business. And then a guy behind me, I don't know, maybe he was trying to help me out. It was just like, oh, by the way, you're not meant to do that. And I was just like, yeah, I know. And I just didn't do anything after that. I didn't, like, change what I was doing or anything like that. Which is a stupid, silly example, more a joke than an example. Like, yeah, man, stand on business. But, it's an example of the sense that I did what I did confidently, knowing that even though, yeah, I might not be in the right, but I still did it confidently. Which, again, stupid example, but to extrapolate it back to what happened this past weekend when I went to the gym, I did that confidently, knowing what I was doing was right. And that's what I expect most people should do. Even though we have this sense, this fear in us that, oh, but this could happen, I don't want to cause conflict for no reason. I know if you have an issue, if you see an issue, it's better to stand up for it than to not. And that's a respectable trait within any man. I think that's how one of the key ways that you can gain respect is when you stand up for something that you don't believe in, or when you see something happening that you're like, no, I disagree with that. But yeah, hopefully you guys can understand what I'm saying here and take the lesson out of this video. But yeah, catch you guys in the next one.